The soil is good for the soul,
Yeah.
and people that were struggling with things that I struggled with, man, to watch a plant grow is therapeutic. I think it's just about giving permission for them to flip the switch and feel the results of extending their life for somebody else without any expectation. One of the things I glean from you, and I really like it when you say this, the greatest currency that we can glean from this life is down in the valley. But the struggle, while it's real, is producing an eternal kind of currency for us.
Yes. Hope is such a powerful thing, and that's really all people need.
No, that's the currency of the human race, man.
Yeah.
Give them hope. I want to be there knowing in my last breath that I squeezed the lemon so hard that there's not a 1 ounce of liquid juice left in it.
The way you care for your tool says a lot about how you live your life. And your vehicle is one of your biggest tools. Lake and Land took my truck from used to showroom with their paint protection, ceramic coatings, and detailing mastery. It's about more than a clean vehicle. It's about protecting what carries you through your mission. They understand that showing up well prepared includes showing up looking like you mean it. Lake and Land Detailing. Keep it sharp, keep it moving. What is up, everybody? This is Joe Adams, and welcome to the Relentless Pursuit Podcast. What we do on this podcast is bring in guests from all different backgrounds, all different walks of life, to share their journey and everything along the way that led them to where they're at today. This show is a reminder of what's real, unfiltered, raw conversations, and the kind of human connection that can't be faked. We're here to make an impact, and that is what we do. So if that is for you, like, subscribe, all those wonderful things. And if that is not for you, I don't know what your problem is, but it's time to jump on board today. Thank you. But without further ado, I would love to introduce today's guest, Mr. Joey Lankford.
Let's go. What's up, big dog?
What's up, man? It's so good to have you here.
It's good to see you again. It's been about a month or so.
Went to Starbucks,
Hey, man, yeah, you always go there for a good recharge, and then we hit the road and went to the farm.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It's cool stuff, and you're like a celebrity around here.
Well,
I remember being at Starbucks and this one guy's talking to me. This other lady's like, "Oh, Mr. Joey," I'm like, "Who is this guy?"
Yeah, I think it's like a local story, and I think the reason that people have been so kind to jump on, it's a contagious kind of thing,
Yeah.
It's like everybody, I think, innately wants to help somebody else, and this was just that story of, just pushing away from the shore and saying we're going to help as many people as we can, and I didn't script it, that from our talks before, but I'm in the vortex now, and it just flowing in a direction. So
we're going to dive into that a little bit.
Cool.
I want to say, an example in my life, I know what you're talking about. We always ask, like, why don't we help each other? Why don't we help each other? I don't think everybody's going to be the person to step forward and initiate that.
Right.
You were the person that initiated that path of what's going on, right? And so that's a perfect thing. Now people have something to gravitate towards to help out,
right?
And
like
help others.
Domino effect.
I saw it with Hurricane Helene.
Right.
I started we're going to start getting stuff going, and so many people wanted to help. All it takes is one person to step forward with action, and
I believe that.
Yeah, hell yeah, leading the right way.
That's it.
So, Joey.
Yes, sir.
Let the guests know, or not the guest, the viewers, the listeners, tell them what it is that you do today, and just what does life look like for you in the present day?
Yeah, present day. So a life in the day of Joey would look like some development work. We with Cultivate, the nonprofit, growing the food, developing the farms, giving the workspace for previously incarcerated people or people coming out of addiction. And never thought, again, you can't script things like this out. But when I got into food and realized I had a real heart for it, and then I realized the way that it naturally, the soil is good for the soul, and people that were struggling with things that I struggled with, man, to watch a plant grow is therapeutic, and very good for a person. So we sort of just started walking into now what is 6 farms right here. It's a leader in a national conversation for the advocacy of local food and the use of the underemployed or chronically unemployed people.
Yeah.
Giving them purpose and mission. in a shrinking segment of what we desperately need. You and I are going to eat 3, 4, 5 times a day. I mean,
Yeah.
And most Americans really post-COVID value the food and the local food and knowing where the food comes from. So just using what I would say is underutilized property to grow food security and create jobs is my daily mission.
Heck yeah.
And to do it with all the passion that I can do it with. And, you and I have talked about when the job is bigger than you and it takes away that I'm naturally prone to selfishness and self-reliance. And I think the best way to keep me out of that is to keep me running a little bit over my skis, if you will. Like something doesn't happen, we might fall all the way down this mountain. But right now we're cruising. To
a degree, selfishness isn't a terrible thing. I mean, thinking of yourself, you don't want to I've lacked doing that, so it's got me in some bad situations. Sure. But at the end of the day, your whole thing is service towards others.
Yeah, you have to be healthy.
Yeah.
To serve others.
Yeah, exactly.
And you and I have had a good conversation about that as well. Like you to be at your best with the calling or whatever you have placed on your life. You've got to have an inwardly focus a lot of times. Like, where am I weeding out the weeds of my own life?
Yeah.
Relationally, I think one of the biggest things we struggle with is like reconciliation. Like you do somebody wrong, somebody does you wrong, whatever. You can carry that around for a long time. You don't know what an anchor that is in your life.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when I'm with my addict friends, and sitting around, a lot of that release and freedom comes when they deal with that. Like, okay, it's not the drug, it's not the alcohol. That. It's like we got these demons inside of us that are constantly warring and
healing those wounds.
Healing the wounds. Going back and being intentional about and having dudes or gals to ask you the questions that point you and give you permission to deal with it.
Of course.
You can't ask somebody a question if you ain't got no relationship with them.
Yeah.
Like, that's what the work and the farm does for us. When I'm down there working with them, I'm them, man. I'm with them.
Yeah.
And they know I'm 100% there. One of the things that made me smile the most, over the weekend is one of the cultivators, the guys that works the farm. He reposted a podcast I did recently, and he said, no matter, it was a beautiful thing in my life, but he said, no matter what this dude's got going on, every time he sees me, he stops and talks to me, and he's 100% in with what we're talking about. And I thought, this guy truly, truly values that. And I value John McPeak is his name. Like, I value that conversation as much as he does, because it's not a space where it's angled in any direction. It's just like, it's purely John pitching up, and if I can put my hand around him, put my hand on his back, say, keep sober one more day, keep coming to work, we're going to keep doing this together, man, I feel a whole lot better about myself.
110%. Well, you're letting him know too by just simply having a discussion with him and talking about. And I put a shirt out, but that said, you matter on the front of it.
Right.
You're just letting him know he matters.
That's it.
And that's a lot of people just need to know something as simple as that. You know what I'm saying? And by doing so, that changes their whole life.
Agreed.
And but then by getting to know somebody, you know how to help them. I had a lady on just put out her episode Sunday. She's a UPS driver.
That's cool.
But she was an addict for years. She was like on opiates. She's addicted to Suboxone for like 6-7 years. I mean, ended up going to Tampa. She's been through hell.
Right.
But she was like, but nobody ever asked, like, she's not knocking anybody, but I thought I was just going through something normal. She's like, nobody asked if I needed help. Nobody knew how to ask that.
Right.
Because nobody really knew her. I think. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a crazy thing. Like,
and if you ask that question to somebody like that sweet lady,
she was great.
Oh,
yeah, she was so awesome.
And if you're in this business of talking to people and asking those questions, but man, society pushes back from those questions because the answers you get might be too dirty.
Oh yeah,
it might pull you in too close to what you don't want to know. You know, so if you open up Pandora's box
Yeah.
and you enter into that what is beyond surface level relationship, you better be ready to walk a mile in somebody's shoes, right? And that's what's, we ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
We ain't got time for that, you know, and that's, you know, that's, you know, very candidly, that's one of the problems I have, you know, with the people of faith is a lot of times it's a whole lot easier to throw money at problems than it is to get in a problem.
Yeah. It's easy to do the surface level.
It's easy to do the surface level. What we miss in the exchange that we have when we get to live life with the UPS driver, we get to talk to them, we get to go into that place with them, is we get the currency of what they have to give to us.
Yeah.
You know, every relationship should be a two-way. There should be an iron sharpens iron. You and I should have different beliefs, different things, but both of us, it calls in both of us to think.
Yeah.
Both of us to like, oh man, you know, this is a reflective thing that this person gives to me. I could do a little bit better here. I could be a stronger person.
And that's growth.
That's growth every time.
On both ends.
On both sides.
Yeah. I honestly, I'm at a point in my life, I can't really have surface level relationships.
Right.
I don't know how to stimulate that. I got to break past that. So it's almost like if people are unwilling, I just kind of detach myself.
Right.
You know, and I don't do it. Like, it's just, I really don't know how to operate at that level, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I see you totally get that, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love that about you. So there was something on my mind I wanted to bring up too that connected all this. It'll come back around. But now let's take it back to the early days of Joey.
Yeah.
You know, let's touch briefly on where you're from, you know, a little bit about your childhood, some influences there in your life, and kind of what led you to this.
Yeah, I think, you know, I lived a really, really cool life. I'm a local boy. So born and raised in Dixon till the 10th grade, moved over to Williamson County, Franklin.
Yeah.
Brentwood right here where we're sitting. And really coming out of high school and going into college, you know, it looked normal. You know, you doing your thing, going to high school, chasing the girls, doing the thing, living, you know, it was pretty normal. And I ended up marrying a girl that I met in church a long time ago. And her name's Courtney, you know, and started working for my dad, had a hospital equipment company. And over the course of like a few years, it had really grown. And we had 10 locations. We servicing a lot of people on respiratory devices, and we had a respiratory pharmacy. And my dad had invested a lot in me being groomed and shaped by some really, really good business leaders in Nashville, you know, spending time with me, mentoring me, stuff like that. And so by 2006, you know, I was really running that company for him. He ran for U.S. Congress in 2008, so he was out for a few years there. And I had 3 kids, Briley, Braxton, Barron, you know, keeping it with the bees. And my wife came to me. We just built the house we wanted out in College Grove and a farm, and my deer stand was close to my house, and my barn, and all my setup was just right, you know?
Heck yeah.
And she came to me and wanted to adopt a baby. And it's not something that we like talk, you know, we didn't get married going, hey, you know what we need to do? We need to have a few kids, and then we need to go out and adopt one, you know?
Yeah.
So this was like news to me. Like,
whoa.
All right, yeah, let's okay. All right. And you know, every man that professes to be a praying man can buy 6 weeks of time on any decision if he just says, hey, let me pray about it. Whether he prays about it or not, it's his business. But
that's a good point.
Yeah, you can say, let me pray about it. You're going to buy about 6 weeks of time. So after 6 weeks was up, she came to me and said, you know, what'd you come up with? You know, and man, I'll be honest with you, Joe, I hadn't prayed a lick about it. Like I sort of mumbled my way through, like, what in the world are we doing? Yeah, you get it.
Week 5, you're like at 5.5 weeks, you're like, dang it, I hope she forgot.
Maybe she had amnesia. But, you know, when she came and she asked me again, I remember saying, you know, yes. If this is something you want to do, baby, I'll support this and I'll be in. You just, I don't know anything about this world, but you tell me what I got to do.
Yeah.
So she did. And in 2009, we started the process of adoption. We ended up in adopting a little girl, 10 months old, from Ethiopia. Her name's Bristol. She'll be 16 the 12th day of this month. But back to the beginning, I really didn't know that that one decision would change everything in my life. Like, I go back to just, I don't know why it changed everything. I just know that it felt better than anything I had done. Like, internally, I could see the value of the investment.
Yeah.
You know, like, it was monetary at first, like, because I was the man of the house, you know, like, I'm just trying to make sure my wife runs in this space. I can do the t-shirts, pay for the, you know, bringing Bristol home and all this stuff, you know, and like really be behind, champion that part of the effort. What I didn't know.
Could you were, sorry to interrupt.
God,
you were like, man, I'm just going to keep working and stay in dad mode. I'm going to do what I've been doing. We just got another kid now, you know. To you, it was so simple.
Yes.
But it did some deeper work.
Yeah, I think, you know, I say, you know, the Lord really put his foot in the door of my heart and started making me reflect it, like doing like internal surgery. I could feel that scalpel, you know, sort of cutting in different places, maybe that I had turned off or I had just refused to look into.
Yeah.
Because I sort of rode on a gravy train, you know, with biscuit wheels there for a while. My parents were still married, my siblings all, you know, no real trauma or tragedy.
Yeah.
And
life was just good.
Yeah, just good. Yes, just good.
You were blessed, you know?
Hey, man, blessed. You know, living the blessed life. Yeah. Almost like, you know, I felt like I was Jim Carrey in the Truman Show, you know, like you wake up and everything's perfect. Almost, you know. This was a glimpse into a different reality. Adoption, man, it's hard. The adoptive, your parents, the listeners that have been through this process, you know, they can understand where my heart is on this.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that you enter into. It's a deeper spiritual contact point than just about anything. You know, I think it's really, really close to the heart of God. You know, it's like, so here we go.
I can feel that from you. I mean, because I can't imagine, you know,
right.
Everybody always said, just wait till you have your daughter, wait till that birth, man. And I was just like, I remember holding her for the first time and tears just poured out my eyes, you know, and I was just like, all I could think about like is, dude, I'm holding like a piece of mine and my wife's soul.
Yeah. You know,
combined.
Mm-hmm.
So but that's coming from us. Like,
that's right.
That's just this natural thing, right? Like we're so blessed. So to go out of my way, to think of going out of my way to another country to bring another child into my life and them become part of us.
Yep.
That's just it's wild, you know, and I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying like,
crazy.
I never really thought about it that deep, but I can feel it through you telling me about it.
You actually, what you just described is exactly what happens.
Really?
Like, I had 3 children with my wife, and that whole thing, that was good. And those 3 children and Riley, Braxton, and Barron and doing that whole process. And I'll be honest with you, there's apprehension going into adoption. You know, because you look at these other 3 kids and you're like, man, how can I love anything like that? Like I love these 3 kids because it is a part of you. It is a part of your spouse, you know.
Yeah.
Transactionally in an adoption process, though, it happens, man. Whatever God's grace is and wherever it comes from, you end up bringing that. When they handed me that baby in that orphanage in 2010, July 4th of 2010, she had a Wisconsin Badgers little cheerleading outfit on. And I said, put some Tennessee orange on this baby. She's going home.
Of course she did.
And so, you know, but at that moment, if you look at those pictures, my heart was Bristol's. Like, I was her dad, and I was going to do everything I could to fight and die for whatever she needed. Like, it's crazy.
That's so powerful, man.
It's crazy, you know, because you don't go, and you know me enough to know, like, I don't plan and script. Man, I went there and they handed me that baby. And at that moment, I'm telling you, when I tell you they handed me that baby and that look on my face was like, let's go.
Yeah.
Get
You just felt that same feeling.
Get this
That's
baby,
so wild.
get this baby back to America, and let's do this. Like, and so we've been doing it for 16 years now. She'll be 16, 12th of this month, and she's a cheerleader at Brentwood High School right down the road.
Nice.
And but that one invitation by my wife to explore something different that we hadn't previously discussed ended up wreck shopping my plans, man. I gave everything away or sold it. We picked her up July 4th, October 22nd. So we brought her back to America, got her passport and citizenship and all the stuff she needed to be a Lankford family member. And we left the 22nd of October to go to Africa, to Cape Town. I mean, telling you this.
What a wild chain of events.
Is like, do what? Like, what? Did I just check out a life? Like, got out of my healthcare company with my family, gave away or sold all of we made it reality.
Didn't you have like multiple homes and stuff?
We had a house in Florida. We had a house in South Carolina.
So you were doing well.
Yeah, like we had done some property exchange stuff, 1031 exchange stuff, sold some property from the business.
Smart, yeah.
Like the game. The game. Like just doing it. Doing what was smart and wise and invest, that kind of thing. And I was learning constantly. You're in a river flowing that fast. You better learn, because when that, so doing the good and the bad of what was for-profit business and trying to grow it and run it and feed, I had 85 employees. So you do the math on the number of mouths that were being fed by our existence and just the responsibility of that. But
you had that, like, it's easy when you're in that place, I can imagine, to be like, oh, we got everything we need. We got all the material things, right? And you doesn't make you bad people, but that does blind you. I mean, like, I almost got married at one point, but materially I had a brand new house and all the things. Like, I was set, but I was like, deep down, I wasn't feeling it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I got out of that, and but for a while, I was just like, had that understanding, like, well, I mean, I got security, like all those different things. Like, you get what I'm saying? So you had that, like,
I did.
And a lot of people fight so hard to achieve just something simple as getting their own house, right? Just one house.
Exactly.
And
all of that,
this ignited a fire.
That feeling you're talking about, of, okay, I've got it, or I've made it, or, okay, this is good. It's sterile and clean enough. It should arrive at the port that I've set out to get to, right?
Yeah.
Oftentimes, that's not the port you end up at, right?
Yeah.
And it can look like it was supposed to look externally, but internally, and one of the things that helped me make this decision was looking at a lot of my dad's friends who, by all intents and purposes, had made it. And realizing, made it looks different, and it's probably felt in different ways, but, they weren't with the same wife generally, or it was falling apart. Yeah. It was materially everything was good, like you said, houses in different places. That's sort of the, marker of, like, hey, you want to go to Florida? You want to go to South Carolina? Things like that.
That's what everybody wants, right?
Yeah, that's what everybody wants. You think until and I think I was young enough at the time, early 30s, the adoption, and then questions. The one experience that really, really highlighted this for me was, and that I wrote about in my book, was going to the barn on my property, that was down the hill from my house. And it was like January 16, 2009. And I did just run a payroll, and healthcare deductibles hit in January, February. So anybody that's billing insurance goes through this cash lag. Mm-hmm. And I went to the banker here, and I was like, I need, this Tim Barnhill. I said, Mr. Barnhill, I need to increase my line of credit and get through this month, Okay, give me your 90-day receivables, and, and we'll take a look at it and get you through this. And the cyclic nature of that pattern of my life, like, first quarter sucks every year because cash ain't coming in. Insurance is denying it. You're going to It's business, right?
Yeah,
It's business. It's business. Fighting the fight, grinding the grind.
Yeah.
But for that year and that season, and where it hit me was I went to a barn. I went down the hill to the barn. Told my wife when I came home, it was about 3:30. I'm gonna go down to the barn, man. Just frustrated. Carried a can of snuff and my Bible for whatever reason, and I went down there, wood stove in there, lit a fire, opened the doors to the windows to where my horses could stick their heads in there and sort of hang out, and climbed up on the hay and just remember sitting there for the first time in my life going, okay, I'm in this adoption, 6 months out from 7 months out from going and picking up Bristol.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I just started crying out like, what is that purpose? What am I here for? Like, I'm 32 years old. I've got everything that you could possibly want. There's still something internally that's amiss. I'm doing it right, but it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like like I'm in this space of contentment, whatever. It was even relationally with Courtney, like it was just like, come on, give me something. Give me a little jet fuel. I want to feel alive again.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I want to feel alive. I don't want to sit here and so anyway, I was in my barn and nothing happened Friday night, and I stayed overnight down there. It's cold in January, and then I got up Saturday, and I stayed. I remember it was snowing too. It started snowing. Staying about 50, 55 degrees in the barn with that wood stove. But and then Saturday night, just sitting there by myself. It's amazing what 24 hours of quiet will do for you. And I was just, saying basically to the Lord, if you're real, you'll show up, because I'm not sure I can keep running running these traps. And that night, I think I had a moment. No, I know I did. The last 15 years are proof of it.
Yeah. The night of the barn.
Yeah. Where I was just like, come on, man. Like, what is it what is it?
Yeah.
Like the Truman Show I referenced, but I was literally going to Brentwood Baptist Church, which is right down the road or whatever from here. You literally pull up. There's 60 Suburbans that way that look like yours. There's 60 Suburbans that way that look like yours. Everybody's getting out, marching in with the kids that got the little, their initials, with the little knickerbockers, whatever they call, socks pulled up. I'm like, man, what are we doing? That's not me anyway. Leave me in the woods. Let me deer hunt. Like what are we doing here? I love the church. I still we got a farm behind it now. But anyway,
but you're I'm trying to make, though, church is that nature aspect. I mean,
yeah,
I believe in having a massive reverence for nature. I think a lot of people are disconnected from that. But
to me, yeah, we can dive into that too.
Yeah, because God is nature.
Yeah, no, we can dive into.
Yeah, I'm big on that. So.
Deep into that.
Yeah. But I'll let you.
Because so when I came out of the barn, I just told my wife on Sunday morning. She looked at me. I could tell in her eyes that she'd been praying for me, whatever. And she just said, I'm going to pray for you that you get clarity, life, whatever. And I said, thank you. And I realized that I needed to start a journey that looked different in order for it to be different. I couldn't get back on the interstate headed in the same direction and expect anything different to happen, right? So started strategically moving in the direction of surrender. Like, what if this whole drama wasn't about me? And I took myself off center stage, because everything for 32 years had been about me. Like center stage, it's a production, it's a movie. I get one shot at it. So I'm going to marry the hottest girl I can find, have the prettiest family, move into the prettiest house, do the. But what if it wasn't about me? What if it was about something else, say Bristol? So all these ingredients are going into stew pot at the same time. Like, what would it look like to live for somebody else? Like, give yourself away, really. Like, for the sake of a cause and a belief system bigger than you.
Other people.
other people, mankind,
Yeah.
like, and so we packed everything. We sold after we picked up Bristol. And we ended up at a place called Living Hope. Living Hope was one of President Bush's USAID funded organizations. Man, when I say I went to Africa, that's the furthest thing from, you think, like, what?
Yeah. What year was this?
2010.
2010. Okay.
And I was dropped in a ministry called Living Hope. Living Hope had developed an arm called Living Way, which was like a workforce development kind of, and it was situated by a township called Maspumalele. And Maspumalele had 45,000 people on 1 square mile, and the unemployment was like 46%.
Okay.
Okay, so just like,
yeah,
picture what you see on TV.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. It's the purest cross section of the richest and the poorest in the world living side by side. And so we lived in a really, really beautiful place. And to get back to your geography as God thing, like, if you've never been to Cape Town, this is my Cape Town plug.
Okay.
Go to Cape Town.
Go to Cape Town?
Like, you literally, when you arrive in Cape Town, you literally can't talk about what you're seeing. Like, it doesn't come out. Your brain doesn't compute the geographical beauty of the tip of the continent of Africa.
Really?
The story. I've been to a lot of different places, and I still say that is the prettiest place with the wildest geography.
Okay, I'll have to check.
Dude, Shark Week was filmed like it's on Seal Island in Cul2vate. It's like, it was, as a crow flies, like 2.5 miles from my house.
Yeah, that's
It's a wild place.
I'd love to check it out. I mean, for me, the prettiest. I've been to Patagonia, Chile. Then so like I'm gonna be like, oh, what, I got to see Cape Town now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got a good measuring stick.
Yeah, because I mean, you got to get places like that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you feel it.
You feel it.
You feel it.
It's like a magic.
Yeah, it's magic.
You know?
Yeah. Regardless of your belief system, that sort of runs a train off the tracks.
Oh yeah.
Because you're like, it's like seeing a baby born. You sort of sit there and scratch your head going, now, most everything in my life is normal, but this ain't normal.
This ain't normal. Exactly. Right. It's cool. And it's, no matter artwork or whatever anybody says can justify being present in that.
Yeah. You can't take a picture of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't do it justice.
But then, the beauty we have, like, I'm a huge fan of Appalachia.
Yeah.
And I love going out to our mountains, and I just, because it's the oldest mountain range in the world.
I know. It's so good. I love that place.
So much spirit, so much mystery there. Mm-hmm. So many things have happened. Mm-hmm. Like, every year I go sit out in the woods for a weekend by myself and like camp out, and that's my eternal work. Yeah, I've got a place I go, and that's just like,
yeah, that's good.
I'm big on that that time to yourself.
Yep.
And just going back to it full circle is nature, man, will bring you so much closer to God.
Yeah, what's crazy is I was reading this morning one of the letters to the churches, and the message talks about the it's called the word whisper. Like, you listen carefully, basically, for the word whisper. Like, and I'm thinking, word whisper, that's a unique sort of twist in translation. But
yeah,
I hear the word whisper in the places that God wired me to hear it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
When I'm in nature.
Oh yeah.
When I'm sitting on a boat, when I'm hunting deer, when I'm, and that's my temp. That's where I'm at. That's just where I get, in the dove field Monday, like camaraderie with the dudes, talking about the life stuff. And so, and it brings out a lot of curiosity in me. It brings out a lot of questions. And so when I found myself in Cape Town, obviously looking like me and talking like me in Cape Town, you stick out like a sore thumb, right?
Who the heck is this guy?
I would, we started a greenhouse growing operation. Mm-hmm. Bought a couple greenhouses. A Zimbabwean farmer named Sorrel Vermart. He put his life on mine for 5 years, 63-year-old asylum seeker from Zimbabwe. My first introduction to farming. People ask me this all the time. Were you just a farmer? Did you? No, man. I went over there and we got a couple of greenhouses and we started growing tomatoes.
Yeah, zero experience.
Yeah. Other than just love being outside. again, to our point, you know, like I went from a medical sales office to outdoors every day, and geographically the prettiest place in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that just it just awakened.
So at this point, have you sold everything pretty much?
Yeah, I mean,
it's
sold, left, abandoned, gave away. You know, like we were just on a mission. My wife.
Yeah, I want to know what your wife was, her thought process in this, because she was like, "Hey, all I want to do is adopt a little girl," you know.
Well, one of the cool stories around that, Joe, is like, we were at our house in South Carolina. So you fast forward from like, January 2009, January 16th, the barn experience. Go to that July. So 7 months later.
Okay.
And she knew something internally was going on. I was wrestling with something, blah, blah, blah. And so, like I remember waking up in this beautiful room in a beautiful house at Lake Jocassee, South Carolina.
Yeah.
And looking at this woman and saying, you know, okay. And so I like woke up, sun coming through the window, and I said, man, I think that like we're supposed to give ourselves away and go on some kind of mission, like go on the mission field, like serve others. I never forget her looking at me and going, literally saying to me, "Hey, Joey," I didn't know how she was going to react.
Yeah.
I mean,
she could be like, "You're
the hell you say?"
No, we're good.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, but she looked at me and said, "I've been there for a while. I've just been waiting on you to get there." Like, I remember walking outside, like, didn't want to tear up in front of her, but walking outside thinking the weight of that conversation, the amount of energy that it took for me to have it, like early in the morning, right space, right time, only to be told, "No, I'm good with that because I already know."
It's like you're expecting the storm, right?
Expecting
you
the
fear
storm.
this thing that's
not there.
You don't even know what's next.
Don't even know. Don't even know.
Man.
And to hear, I'm there. Now go. Make it happen.
Probably like hit you like so hard.
It's like, you talk about running. Once I had, it's almost a hall pass.
Yeah.
You know, go get it, Tiger.
Let's do it.
You know, I was like, let's go. You know, and so then I just started putting the track down. And
it not to interrupt, but it's really cool how your wife just lets you get there yourself rather than pushing it and then allowing you to lead it. You know, it's very, I'm big on that traditional standpoint, right? So she lets, I don't know, it's really cool. She just was like, something in her was like, he'll get there. And she just believed that. And you did. And then she let you lead, man. Right. And that's so freaking cool.
It was, I mean, still to this day, it's sort of the same.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. And you, when you see the fruit of it, when you see what comes out of that natural, forget what everybody else in the world's saying.
Yeah.
Order is order.
Mm-hmm.
Truth is truth, baby.
Yeah.
And when you're in line and you're in order, you're going to have good things happen in every life.
Yes.
It ain't no who lead, who's in charge, ain't none of that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I run my role, she runs hers.
Yeah.
And complementary to one another, it's doing some really cool stuff.
Yes.
You know, understanding that role. There ain't a person in my house that understands. Somebody comes through that door, Mama ain't going to get them.
No.
Mama ain't going to get them. Daddy's going to get them.
100%.
You know, and I got 2 boys, and it's real important that when they know, once Daddy's been eaten through, it's the next man up, and the next man up.
Yep.
You ain't nobody getting the girls in my house, right? And I think that's what we failed when we start talking all these other narratives. Man, you off. Don't talk about that to me.
Yeah.
I've seen it work the right way. The script is right.
Yeah.
We work the script. Eternal things happen.
There's something I got tattooed on my forehead. It's written in runes, but it says Dharma, which is the righteous path, the natural way. It's order and truth. It's the cosmic order and truth. And something I like, when I got it tattooed, I was like, I want to lead with that righteous action. And it applies to everything. Like I look at that structure. I agree with your structure because it's just, to me, And I'm not here to knock anybody else's ways.
I'm
but
not
this
knocking.
is how we live our lives. And
Yeah.
this is our truth. And
Yeah.
I believe that that's the natural way of things. And from that comes, it naturally flows how it's supposed to in beautiful ways. You know what I'm saying?
Think, but I can only tell my own experience.
Exactly.
You know, somebody might come on here and tell a different experience. You know, like, man, I experienced it this way. Who am I to judge that person?
Well, exactly. I've had so many
Like,
different guests on here. Like, no one's changed my values and my outlook.
Right.
Right? I'm true to
Still
that.
who you are.
But it's not my job to convince them otherwise, because their
Agreed.
experience of life is completely different than mine, you know? And
Yeah.
I have to be understanding of that, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you're right.
You know, but I'm just,
You're
if I
right.
believe my way is the way, like you do,
Sure.
then we don't got to yell at somebody's face. We just walk that walk. We set the
Agreed.
example. And if other people want to gravitate towards it, they will.
Exactly.
It's all about the steps you take.
Exactly.
You know, and I look at Christ as a perfect example.
Yeah.
He wasn't like getting in people's faces like, believe in me. He
Right.
was just leading with love
Amen.
and kindness. He led a certain way.
Let it be.
And guess what? People followed.
People followed him. If you look around as a leader and ain't nobody following, you just fooling yourself. You know, like and the example you just gave. Wow. I mean, to follow that example, you know, is challenging. It does lead to life, but man, does it flip on religion on its head. You know, like I think grapple with all the times.
I talk about it all the time. It's not the titles, it's the actions.
Yeah, it's what he did and how he walked. It's
Yeah.
what those we see modern day. You know, you see examples of those that are really out there advocating for the weak, the orphan, the folks. You know, and you think, well, why is I think about this all the time. You asked me a question about earlier. We started off by talking about, you know, like going to Starbucks and everybody being like, you know, Joey. Man, I think it's just about giving permission for them to flip the switch and feel the results of extending their life for somebody else without any expectation of return.
Of course.
Think about how culturally that's abnormal. Almost. Like, no return? What do I get out of this? Nothing.
Yeah.
What do you mean? No. You don't get nothing. Actually, you have to give more. You're like, which is why I think when people scratch around like we talked about in those, or, you know, wade off into those waters, they sort of say, well, this is deep enough.
Yeah.
Because every step takes you to the next, you know, you're getting to the 12-foot quickly.
Yeah, and then those things, you know, it comes sacrifice with those, and like, are people willing to sacrifice what they've spent the time to build, maybe? You know?
Yeah. Scary, you know?
It is, and it's understandable.
Understandable, man. Yes, understandable. Not for me to judge, and I think that's the personal journey. It's like, no, man, you live your life. Just keep living your life, and watch the beauty and the growth that comes out of it.
Yeah,
you know, and don't worry about what Joe's doing. Don't worry about what, you know, everybody else is doing. Just try to stay, you know, focused on what brings you, makes you you. Makes you come alive. That's food and unemployment. But you know, in Africa, we were able to start some what I would say relationships with like the social equivalent of Whole Foods. It was called Food Lovers Market, and develop a market contract and start selling tomatoes. And we created sort of a niche market for locally grown, crown-owned, unrefrigerated tomatoes.
Really cool.
Flipped the market a little bit, got 13 greenhouses, started graduating people into full-time jobs. And it's still going today.
Yeah.
15 years later, you know, it's still wildly successful.
I remember you told me how like some businesses started from
26 small businesses started out of that while I was there. And you know, when you look at something around you and the ball's rolling, but you're not pushing it, that was sort of how these businesses developed. I mean, people started coming and joining me. People started helping and walking with the Xhosa and Zulu people and starting these little micro enterprises, you know, from chicken eggs to boilers to whatever. And I was just standing around going, man, I don't know nothing about a chicken. You know, I'm a country boy from Tennessee, but I mean, we still bought our eggs at Kroger. You know, like.
But you're doing the connecting, and you're doing
I'm
all
starting
these things.
Yeah,
like,
I'm doing the development.
Yeah,
like
you're
a chief
skilled
development
at.
officer. Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, and realizing that I get to do it in the coolest place on the planet.
Yeah.
So that 5 years was really cool. I tell people I was sent to Africa to come back from Africa all the while. You know, looking back on my journey, I'm like, no, it's like a boomerang story. You know, I was thrown out there to learn some lessons, to set in the realities of what real poverty looks like.
It's a beautiful thing. I
Beautiful.
like the analogy to boomerang story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was never, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't know. You know, people ask me, well, did you go out there and think you were going to live there the rest of your life? Man, I didn't know if I'd make it. Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm not just, you know, I didn't know, and Courtney didn't know. Like, we were just like, let's push off. We rented a car from the airport for 6 months and a home for 6 months. That's how we started our life in Africa.
Stepping into the unknown.
Just stepping into the unknown.
It's been one of my biggest lessons.
And I'll tell you this. My wife would say the exact same thing. Stepping into the unknown brought us the deepest relational currency. I've been married 25 years. You mark the place where you've taken your hands off the controls and you can focus on being there for one another. Come hell or high water. Man, it does something.
Yeah.
It forges you in a way that, you know, the currents that are in our culture, they really have to push up against and realize, man, this ain't an everyday, you know, home structure. This is not everyday. These fires have been forged literally on the doorsteps of a township called Massapumalele.
Yeah.
My kids grew up smelling burning tires from the township. When we'd have riots and stuff, they'd set tires on fire and the smoke would come up the hill to our mountainside home, you know, there. And it
wild.
Was wild. My three oldest kids, you know, they've had the experiences of a lifetime. They've seen good experiences. None of this is like, we walked away from that place better people.
You know, everything's good or necessary. So,
yes.
You know, love avoids fate, right? Amor fati is that's. I got it tattooed on my wrist. I have to remember that. Like,
yeah.
You know, it may not seem like a good situation, but it's necessary at least, right?
Right.
And from that, it's a beautiful thing because there's
growth.
It's experience.
Experience.
Yeah.
All experience is growth, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what life is. Life is about the experience.
Right. And I just think when I look back at 5 years in Africa and what it did to my kids, I mean, oldest ones especially.
Yeah, what did they said?
I mean, they're adventurers now.
Yeah.
You know, one has a sociology degree at UT. She's married. She's doing work in battered women's shelter in Knoxville, you know, counseling and leading those women. My son, 21 years old, is an adventurer. He's out there rock climbing, running marathons, and working with youth.
Sick.
Yeah, out there working with youth that are in a low income district in Knoxville. You know, it's a primarily Black or African American school.
Yeah.
He's working there with some kids, you know, supporting them, helping them, you know,
Cool.
understand our side of the story. You know, like,
yeah,
hey, this is where I'm from. Where are you from? You know, normalizing that friendship culture,
bridging the connection.
Yes, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah,
like, let's just be friends. Let's help each other. Let's add value to one another's life. You know, my story's got value. Your story's got value. Yeah. You know, like, let's glean what we can from it. Let's move on.
Believe it or not, there are things we relate on.
Amen. Every single one of us.
Everybody.
And so, Barron, my now 18-year-old this month, he learned to toss a little ball around. When he was in Africa, it's a rugby ball. It's a little different than the American football. But he would play with the kids from the township and the local Afrikaans boys when he was a little tyke. He came back and he's a big boy now. And he's become he's an amazing rugby player in the United States. So he is on the track to he's been in and up at West Point. Our academy, with Coach Sherman, and it looks like the wind's behind his sails to take him up there to play rugby for the academy.
Super cool.
But that's all from that experience. I mean, people ask me, I'm like, I mean, he learned he developed a love for rugby in Africa.
Yeah.
And he's a heck of a football player. But he would, if he had to pick one, like he's going rugby every day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got a very, very special place in his heart.
It's connected to a very a one of a kind experience.
Yes. It means a ton to him when he gets on the pitch.
Yeah.
You know, and they pitch him that rugby ball. There's a lot more than just putting it on. He's played with some who dearly, dearly love that game. We've developed a love for it as a family. So
that's cool.
Pulling for the Springboks all the time and,
yeah.
and watching those players. But the Lord brought us home, 2015, 2016. And, when you return home, man, there's a fear with that because you wonder if your muscle memory is going to take you right back to the rhythms that you had before you left.
Yeah.
Did we just go on a 5-year vacation, right? Like, I'm gonna put my Tennessee Orange on every Saturday. I'm gonna be in the woods October through December.
Yep.
I'm gonna start doing the things that come so easy to be in what I would say is a Tennessean. Just live. This is where I live, work, and play. I'm gonna do it really, really good.
Of course.
And so I think we've experienced the realities of that in many different ways. But coming back, setting up the nonprofit, Cultivate, to do the work. And when I set it up, man, I had no idea. It was a pipe dream, right? I've seen this work in Africa. I've been involved in it. What would it look like to chart out on some local food security stuff? Looking at what we would call food deserts and the growing gap of food equity in this country and try to make a difference. Yeah. Dude, think about that. It's a crazy.
It sounds so wild, but
I didn't even have a clue. I'll be honest, I didn't have a clue. Okay. I told my wife at a Valentine's dinner at Harbor House right there in Cul2vate in a little town called Fishhook in South Africa. I was like, I think we need to stay in food. I don't know what that looks like going back home. But let's go into the unknown. So we pushed away from Africa March of 2015. We took 4 kids there. My wife got pregnant and had one, so we brought 5 kids back.
Yeah.
Baylor's in the 6th grade. And so we came home. We ended up landing here and renting a house like we did there. And I started running and gunning. You got to move pretty fast when you got 5 kids. You can't take a lot of, I was back here 1st of April, and I remember having my first meeting on April the 6th lined up to start running and gunning, raising
April 6th,
money.
my birthday.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool. But anyway, I got to know Governor Haslam while I was overseas.
Cool. We
had a lot of similar interests. He knew my family, knew my dad, but just got to talking to him.
So he was out there. He came out there?
He just would, he reached out to me.
Okay, cool.
I did a book where I actually worked with Rich Stearns, president of World Vision.
Okay.
He wrote a book called Unfinished, and he profiled Courtney and I's story. So I met with his team, and we went out to Seattle, Washington, met with his team. Me and Rich got to be friends through that process, and so Rich and Governor Haslam had a connection.
Okay, cool.
And I think they were college roommates. Anyway, Rich came to speak at the governor's prayer breakfast, and he brought. Have you seen what's going on? Have you heard about the guy that left a medical sales job to go to Africa, save the world, that kind of thing? And he's like, no, I hadn't. Anyway, long story short, I got an email from the governor wanting to meet. Would like to meet you. I was here on furlough, so. It's really cool. I mean, went down there. I remember being just like me and you in a room with him. Door shut at the Capitol. I gained a lot of respect for him.
That's cool.
Doors shut, me and him, no politician. Just a dude that cared about humanity. A dude that had power and position, but wasn't wielding it around like a sword.
It's interesting.
It's hard for me to describe that, but it wasn't. That's not the man I saw.
Well, everybody has this understanding of politicians,
yeah,
and rightfully so.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's the whole thing is like until you sit one-on-one with them,
Yeah, you
doors
don't.
closed,
Yeah, exactly.
it's
man.
hard because, you know, you see so much out there. But
And we left it like, you know, it was weird, but you know, our interaction from that first meeting on was always, I would text him from Africa or call him or email him, and he was responsive. You know, I did a book with Lifeway. He wrote a thing for it. You know, if
That's
you
cool.
want, you know, his buddy Rich Stearns wrote the forward for it. Like he would, so when I came home, you know, I met with his commissioner, Julius Johnson, and asked, we met and I asked him for land. I said, I got this concept and I need land. And I mean, he didn't even, I mean, there was not, it didn't even get out of the air. And he goes, I can do that. I can do that.
yeah,
And you've been to the farm, so you saw what they did.
it's a sick setup.
Oh man, and they that 8 acres, you know, the governor nor I at the time knew that we would become the first agricultural department in the United States to have a working farm on it. That was crazy. Nuts. And that farm would be an employment development farm for people coming out of addiction or incarceration, job access. You know, we wanted to serve a purpose. That was, not only is it the only ag department with a working farm on it, it's one that has a deep purpose, mission, feeding people, you know, rehabilitating people. Anyway,
just full circle, a massive purpose.
Couple of dudes just getting out of prison. Chris Comstock, who's still with us, who you met, and the guy named Jack Pope. They joined me, and we grew 10,000 pounds of food on 4 gardens that year, and you'd have thought we won the Super Bowl. Like, you know, no infrastructure, bootstrapping it, and just talking about what we were doing, giving the food away to people that were food insecure, and again, you know, I was like, this is something. I mean, there's something of value here. It's in a relational sweet spot. Has a lot of good and wholesome things tied to it. It's in its mission. But man, like going back 9 years, we'll be 10 years old next year, and Cultivate will be. So it's like, man, I still couldn't have dreamt. You know, you've seen it. You've sort of seen what it has become. But then once our identity started to take shape, and COVID did really, really cool things for us because we're in the food space, right? And you can't put addicts and people out of prison in isolation. You just can't do it.
No.
And I remember talking to the commissioner of ag going, what's our response? We're on state property. How are we supposed to act with COVID? And he's like, what? I said, we got to work, bro. Like, we can do whatever you want us to do with the 6-foot buffer, but we got to be in the fields and we got to be having community. You put these guys and gals in a home and you lock the door on them and tell them to sit there for 6-8 months while we figure out this virus.
Yeah, not going to turn out.
Not going to turn out.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, you know, so we were able to work through that time. We were given the ability to keep producing food, keep being a part of that food security conversation. And then, you know, I started thinking about, man, food anxiety after COVID became a household thing.
Yeah.
You know, the housewife with financial means couldn't get some of the stuff they wanted at the grocery store for the first time ever. Started seeing it in my own home and thinking about, man, food security is something we need to be at least aware about, you know, distribution, just internal food security at a local level. And so I started advocating for the use of underutilized property.
Yeah.
Mainly around faith communities, like talking about future church and future food. And, you know, we're the largest landowner in the United States and we pay to have our grass mowed. We better think about that, you know, from the stewardship. So you know how that's turned out. You know, we've got these large churches giving these large tracts of land for this, you know, with the infrastructure and stuff for us to be able to farm. We'll be over 500,000 pounds of food this year.
That's just nuts.
It's nuts. 10,000 pounds, acting like you won the Super Bowl 9 years later. Moving towards 1 million pounds really, really quickly, which is my goal, on land that we don't pay for. So, you know, land access in ag circles is the biggest conversation, biggest impediment to people getting into ag is they can't afford the land anymore, right? I think we've creatively worked out through some master services agreements how these people can access property. set up micro enterprises, set up, you know, other training stations, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like we grow internally as people graduate. So all of our farms are manned by people who previously come through the course. They have a heart, they have the culture down pat, they carry the DNA of Cultivate with them, and they have, and they understand their BS meter's pretty high. You know, like they know the people coming out of addiction, they know the people coming out of prison. So it's not the, you know, churchy conversations don't happen very much. It's like, shoot me straight.
Yeah.
Don't shoot me.
They can check them pretty well.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah. Which is good. That's a great resource.
Huge quality. Like, man, in the world we live in, you know, having that scanner.
Oh, 100%.
Having that scanner to know, no, this dude's real.
And you're on, like you said, government land. So you got to, like, you can't have some issue arise there, right?
Absolutely.
So you have to have that kind of
you have to be
vetting system. Yeah.
Yes. You have to be very strategic in your intake application process and very strategic in how you move people around. There's risk in that. Every farm we add, we know there's risk in that because, you know, the demographic that we really, really seek to help, they have a different frame of reference from their experiences. So, you know, sometimes it's not going to be churchy. It's just going to be what it is, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And so we do manage that pretty well. But, yeah, you said 500,000 pounds of food, man. It's crazy. You know, we take 22 people in a year. Guarantee them 40 hours a week, pay them $18 an hour starting out. They usually have their residence and their transportation, you know, from other partner ministries or other partner organizations, halfway houses, stuff like that. I tell people I get to work with the most loyal workforce in the world. You build a relationship and you do something for an addict. You know, the gang culture is strong for a good reason.
Yeah.
You know, and once that's redeemed and put in the right path and working under the right energy, it's still the same hard wiring. It's still this commitment, you know, and so there's not a lot of conversations in our organization that are surface level. Like, you don't have to wade through a bunch of objectives to get to, you know, the brass tacks of sobriety. I want to make money. I want to save money. I want to do different, and I want to give back because I've taken from my community for way too long. Yeah. You know, and now I want to give back.
You talk about that gang culture, and that's going to give them that community, but it's going to keep them taking from their community as well, right?
100%.
Instead, they're going to be, you know, formulating that bond and that brotherhood or friendship, that family, yet it's purposeful. And it's going to just raise them up.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And gives them community.
Gives them community, yeah. It gives them so much more.
They're seeking out of that.
Yeah.
Regardless of what affiliation, they're seeking community.
Yeah, they go from being takers to like givers.
Yeah, when you see that switch flip in somebody, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, when you see them show up with food that literally they can contribute through their blood and sweat and tears and hand it to a family in need, something changes. I can't tell you.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, you're looking at a dude or a gal that literally had robbed from their mother to feed their addiction. And now they've done what I call a 180, about face, and they're handing food to somebody that literally cost them working in 100-degree heat in August when everybody else trying to find air conditioning.
Yeah.
You know, like, man, when they give that squash, when they give that potato, they're giving more than that.
You're pulling them out of the darkness
into light,
giving them a higher purpose.
Yes.
Like, that's a beautiful thing, man. I can't, it's like,
you can't,
that's the best.
We all need it.
Yeah.
You know, like, we need a higher purpose. We need something that's outside of ourselves. Without thinking, one of the things I gleaned from you, and I really like it when you say this, is the greatest currency we get is, I'm putting it in my words, but the greatest currency that we can glean from this life is down in the valley. not on the mountaintop. Like you've said it different ways, but it's like, you know, the struggle, while it's real, is producing an eternal kind of currency for us.
Yes.
And I believe that. And the reason I believe it is because every testimony I hear of somebody who, and you've met a few other dudes, and I think in future podcasts you're going to get some of them on.
Oh, 100%.
That's the stories that you're going to hear that I'm really stoked about, because I mean,
the people in the valley,
the end of 20 years,
dude. I'm so excited for that.
22 years, Jimmy, you know, brain trauma.
Yeah.
Adam, you pick. I mean, they know you now. So it's like you pick, but you're going to get a story.
Yeah.
And it's through their stories and through their lives that I think we'll circle back to, like, I would consider myself the one most blessed to be able to live this life, to be able to give my life. I say give, you know, I live in Brentwood and my kids are at Brentwood High School. I still live and buy my food. I don't have a lot of stuff to worry about, but it's my place to give and serve. It's where I'm called to right now. People ask me, I was asked yesterday, oh man, your house is on the market. I'm like, yeah, we're just trying to see what the next best for us is, you know. Immediate question, you going back to Africa? I'm like, no, man.
It's like, how the hell did you find this out so fast?
I'm like, no, man, come on. Give me, but that's the natural reaction of people around the story, is like, oh, what's the next radical thing, you know, that's going to, and I don't think it is. I mean, I really think it's just pressing more into what does Cultivate's iteration look like for the next 5-10 years.
Yeah.
I truly believe that we're trying to build a replicable strategy that leads the nation in food security at a local level through the redemption of chronically unemployed folks coming out of prison.
I love it.
You know, we've got all the conversations around the absence of farm workers now, and like, you know, but what are we not looking at? Like, let's not talk about what we don't have. Let's talk about what we have.
And then
this conversation.
Yeah, and you'll become more aware of that as you go forward.
I think so.
You know, because I was thinking about this. You know, you sacrificed. You started cutting the weight that was unnecessary. In your life, right?
Yeah.
That, you know, and you know, for me, it's been struggles. I want to provide for my family better, right? So that's always in the back of your mind. But like, my life is geared towards, you know, that service towards people, impacting people, man, other people. That's the most important thing. But I truly believe as you pursue that those things will come for your family as well, you know. But like, I had to get rid of people to get myself around the right people, that I resonate with, that are in alignment. I had to get rid of a building to get into a space that allowed more opportunity there. I get rid of this truck that I don't freaking need. You know, it's cool. But it doesn't matter because it doesn't serve where I'm going. And like, you got to do the things that serve your direction. And what I've come to realize is, like, a few years ago, I would have been able to paint like a picture of like what Relentless Pursuit is going to look like one day. But for me, this year, the big thing was stepping into the unknown. And I realized, man, I'm just painting as I go. You know, it's all like, I'm going to get there and I'm going to turn around and then I'll see what that vision was.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like
for sure.
I bring this up because I see it with you. Like, you probably couldn't visualize it, but you know, it's just going to be such a beautiful thing because it already is.
Well, okay. So when you say that, here's what I get. People ask me all the time, you know, you say, you need to write another book. You need to write another book. I'm like, I ain't got the book yet, but I dang sure got the cover. You know what it is, Joe? It's I got a picture from my daughter Briley when she was 5 years old, from let's say her preschool. Man, it says, "I love you, Daddy," at the bottom, and it looks like a 5-year-old just took a crayon. And that crayon is, you know, it's blue. Then it's got some red scribble over the top of it. Then it's got some green. And then, you know, it looks like a freaking random mess of squiggly marks, right?
Yep.
That's the cover, because I believe that is what it looks like at the end if you've done it successfully.
Yeah.
It looks like a 5-year-old colored on a piece of paper. You can't map out. The guy that mentored me in South Africa used to tell me, Joey, when you go back home to America, if you can get your head and heart around what you think you're supposed to do, it's a man-sized vision. But if you can't, it's a God-sized vision. You pick which one you want to operate in.
Yeah.
Like and I heard it in my mind, I've dialed that into a 5-year-old scribbling on a piece of paper. Like,
yeah,
if it's linear and makes sense on charts and graphs, it's man size. If it has a random, wild shape, color, and madness to it, it's probably a higher vision and calling.
Man, thanks for saying that. I'm gonna reflect on that. That's perfect.
Because it's nothing you can take me back to the barn that we talked about January 16th, 2009, and ask me, is this in me and you? Not a chance, bro.
Yeah.
Like, not a chance would I think that you could go to Africa. It's not why I did it. And then come back and have such a relentless pursuit.
Let's go.
For the underserved,
yes,
chronically unemployed, and those with food equity issues. I want to talk about those issues. Like, give me that space.
Dude.
Like, I think every human, a basic human right of every human is to eat food.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's get down to brass tacks over what we need to do to help a one by one. It's not a resource problem.
Yeah. Oh,
it's a care problem. And then my brothers and sisters coming through addiction and incarceration fight for those people. Like, they are us with different experiences. They are me and you, actually. Like, we've been down those roads where, those, but because we have been down that road, we both have a pursuit of telling those people's stories and putting a face and a name on those folks, and a purpose behind those folks so that they can live the same life that we're living. Figuring it out the same way we're figuring it out day by day. There's no difference in them and us. Like, you said it earlier, everybody's got an addiction.
Everybody does.
I think people coming out of prison and living in halfway houses, theirs is just socially disapproved of.
What's the difference in someone that won't stop looking at their phone and pay attention to life?
Don't get me started.
And someone that's like doing some drugs.
Don't get me.
What's the difference, truly?
We could get on that for a long time.
Both of them numb you, just in different ways.
Numb you, but one of them is socially approved. Not only socially approved, but it fits into the social rhythms that the currency of our culture wants us to go. They own us when we do that.
Yeah.
The other one, so alcohol. Let's just say, I'm in this space. We all have addictions.
Yep.
Don't come to my farm and put those addictions on those people, because if I hear that, I immediately know that's masking their own addiction.
You haven't looked in the mirror yet.
You haven't turned and looked around to see that every pursuit of an individual, every time we take the Lord off the throne of our life and put something else there and chase it with every bit of the energy we have an addiction. We have, we could explore that. Again, I'm not a clinician. I'm not a psychologist. I'm a farmer.
This is based off of your experience.
This is just me saying, like, some of the healthiest people I have ever met live in the smallest shacks in Africa, eat on a freaking common plate, and have outdoor plumbing and no water in the house and take tub baths, okay? Yeah. Some of my best friends are still living with 3 kids and a wife in a 10 by 10 shack under those conditions. They were there when I lived there. They're still in that township in that shack, okay? They're the happiest people that I know. There have been books and volumes written about why is there seem to be joy in circumstances such as that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't answer, but I've been to the biggest houses that you can imagine with urinals and bathrooms and, you know, ice where you don't, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there be this miserable spirit around it.
Yeah, you can feel that.
It's like you're
feels
like,
empty.
Yeah, like, you know, yes, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so I don't know. I think it's upside down all the way around, you know, like the more we explore, the more we take our lives and present them as a sacrifice, or like give them without expectation. It doesn't matter what economic environment we find ourselves in. It doesn't matter what, you know, it's our own personal journey.
Yes.
It's our own personal journey. You know, I'm 40, I'll be 48. And I look forward to the days ahead of me, as many as I get, because of the opportunity to explore more of myself. Like, you know, in this relentless pursuit, for the things that we were wired to do, produce a lot of really cool currency in your life.
Yeah.
You know,
it's never ending.
It's never ending. And it's something that you really can't put on the fireplace mantle, you know, like it's you exchange it relationally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I tell people the spirits meet before we do in a lot of what we do and encounter. Like, I can meet you and know pretty quick, you know, that no, we're aligned on a lot of things, right? You know, like, this would be good to keep anyway. Keep the journey going, meet the people. The biggest blessing of my life is that some of my greatest friends are Xhosa and Zulu people, addicts, and previously incarcerated people. It wasn't the way I wanted to write. I didn't wake up going, you know, this would be a cool 45-year-old story.
It's just how,
you know, addicts and people, you know, picking them up from hotels and relapse, and, you know, meeting them at literally meeting them at a pond here in Brentwood because their truck is known and they don't want to go up and have a suicide victim in the truck. You know, this is one of your dudes. Figure we give you a call. You won't come out here and see, you know, before we go to the, yeah, man. Yeah. So building those kind of relationships, even with law enforcement, where it's like, you know, there's a respect factor, right? You know, and then people know about the work, and they respect those folks, men and women that work for Cultivate, and so it's really cool to see the domino effect of relationships, you know, manifest itself in so many lives.
I love that.
His goat hair was our Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance.
He was nuts.
Like, what one thing that cramps me up, Joey, is that, like, yeah, don't y'all pay a lot of money for, like, maybe you get sick? Like, and I'm like, and it's like a big part of y'all's existence and security is like, I'm like, yeah, he goes, well, consider that goat hair my insurance. We don't have that. Like, I'm like, now that goat hair is not Blue Cross Blue Shield. But when I went home and laid and watched the lighthouse light come through our window every 13 seconds in Komaki, South Africa, I was like, wait, we have got man-made, or let's say we are driven to believe certain things that protect us and get us to death. And because he was born in the mountains of Zimbabwe, it's not a paid health plan that other people profit off of.
Mm-hmm.
It's a history of tribal customs. Is like customs.
You know, it's something simple. And, like, here's what you get. If you get sick and you go to the doctor and it's bad, right? You'll see what I'm getting at. You go to the doctor, it's bad. You know, we got our situation. Then they put the goat hair on, and then somewhere else they do this. All these things give the same result, hope. Nothing's promised, right? Like,
nothing.
Us going to the doctor, yeah, it maybe raises our chances, but some things can't be squared away. We're just hoping that it can be.
Right.
You know, and it almost translates directly into what you do with Cultivate or when you're serving other people. I don't know. I saw it when I was doing stuff with Hurricane Helene. You know, we built this yurt for a lady. her house was smashed in.
Yeah, you told me about that.
And I just remember, like, it saw in her eyes. It was hope. That's all she needed. And man, that
You're
hope
right
is
about
a powerful thing, dude. So
it's powerful.
it can be goat hair, or it can be going to the doctor's office. It can be giving people food or building them a yurt. Hope is such a powerful thing, and that's really all people need.
No, that's the currency of the human race, man. Like, give them hope. Yeah. And you give them hope by just showing up, right?
Just showing up. Showing them that you give a shit.
You're there, man.
Yeah.
With no agenda. Like, I'm not the sobriety police of Cultivate.
Yeah.
You know, like, you want it, you get it here.
I'm here for you.
Our job is provide you the environment to best conquer the demons that you're running from. Like,
you're getting me fired up.
Yeah, so just provide the space, man.
Yeah.
Show up. And there are days people ask me, you don't want to show up. I'll tell you what, the days I enjoy most are the days I get to work on the farms, you know, with the people. One, I like being outside, but two, man, you talk about some good conversations. Get me square. Make me better at what I do. And who I advocate for, and what I believe in is to go see the lives that are being changed because they're making their own decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Making their own decisions with the things they're being offered at this season and there's time to turn their tragedy into a testimony to help other people.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell them, now this ain't the end, man. Like, if healing was the end, we go ahead and end it all. Like, you know, healing ain't the end. The true gold and currency of this is that you get to use your healing to help somebody else.
Yeah.
You get to pass it along. That's when life becomes purposeful. You know, you get to tell your story. You get to see the hope from the lady that got the yurt. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you said that when we first met, you said something happened in your life when you saw in her face what you saw. You were like, no, I'll go to the stake for that.
Yeah.
I'll go to the stake for that, to see people like that have that kind of hope. And you know, when it ignites, it's a powerful thing.
It's addictive.
It is addictive.
You know?
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
And it's something that's exchanged to you too, that you talk about, like the hope you give those guys and that opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? But in exchange, you get perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think a lot of people can use just some simple perspective.
I do too.
Yeah. You know, because we're consumed and we're like, why are they addicted to this? Why do they do that? Like, get some perspective.
For real.
Talk to them. That's simple.
For real.
Have a conversation.
Just be a friend, man.
Yeah. I love it, man.
Like, I go down under the bridge during the winter. I go down and serve the homeless food. I'll be honest with you, it was at my son Braxton's invitation last year, so we went every Monday night. And, man, I just thought to myself, every time I came back home at 9 p.m. on a Monday night, and it's usually through the November, December, so Thanksgiving, Christmas, holidays, you know, you going down there and get a group together. We go under the same bridge. We serve generally the same people, you know.
Yeah.
Every time I left, I didn't go home thinking about, man, you know what, man, I is a star in my crown. I got down there and served those people.
Yeah.
Those people. I gripped the steering wheel on the way home, and I thought about human relationships, the gaps in the way that we believe life is and the way it really is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I could name names of people who were in those situations who sat down at a table over some potatoes and some turkey, and we talked about life, and I'm like, man, I walk away from this conversation so much better. Yeah. They're still going to go sleep, try to find a porta-john that they can sleep in tonight just to take the cold off, you know, and I'm going back to Brentwood.
Perspective.
And it was all just, you know, over that plate of food, in those conditions under that bridge at that time. All that went away.
Yeah.
We were just two men talking to one another, you know, things done right, things done wrong, beautiful things we remember, things that really were trials for us. And there was no expectation that it would lead anywhere but just to be friends. You
That's
know,
cool.
like, man, I got a lot from it.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing.
A lot of times what we believe life is much more complicated than what it truly is.
Yes.
because that between y'all was a very simple exchange that did so much more.
Will continue to ripple
Yeah.
through my life. I know him. I know where he goes to church. I know what he does. You know, I know he lives. I know he's still there. You know.
I love it.
You know what the thing was? He's there as an alcoholic, raging alcoholic, because the tornado that swept through Kentucky a few years ago ripped his mother and his kids and everything out of his arms, and threw him God knows where. And when he woke up 6 months later, he was in Nashville in a hospital, and they told him all of his relatives were dead, and his farm was a freaking dump.
That breaks my heart.
And when he left the hospital, he had no mama, no daddy, no sister, no wife. Turned out because insurance said he had to get out of the hospital. And you know what? He's walking around with his freaking skull, you know, pushed in on one side, my age or younger. Let's say he's in his late 30s. Walking around the streets of Nashville with nothing because one thing happened in his life. A tornado came through it. God. Everything's right till everything's wrong. And then now he's down in downtown Nashville. My son, Braxton, 21 years old, he's buddies with him. Name's Chris.
I need to go interview him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he shows up at the church down there. What was funny is we had mutual friends. We didn't even know it. And we found out over a turkey and turkey gravy and mashed potato dinner at Thanksgiving. We found out that some of the pastor friends of mine that I have that look and walk a lot like we do.
Yeah.
Me and you.
Yeah.
Are down, you know, when the day job's over, they're down there ministering to those folks, you know, and so
Man.
Yeah, he would ask me, you know this guy, and be like, yeah, I know that pastor. Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's a good dude. I'm like, yeah, stay close to him. Stay close to him. He cares about you. You know, he said, well, you know what he does? He tells me come early for his Sunday congregation. I go before that. I help him set church, set the chairs up. You know, he give me a nice breakfast, cup of coffee. I'm like, just stay close to that, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
that's amazing.
He don't want nothing from you.
That's so amazing.
He's seeking and searching his own way, you know?
I love it. Thanks for sharing that with me. That gave me chills. Almost got me
emotional. I'm glad you led me. I mean, I'm glad our conversation led that way, because I was just thinking, you know, I was telling you my son serves in the African American school in Knoxville. But it's a life pursuit. It's a relentless pursuit. He's developed a relentless pursuit through his upbringing, which moved him to Africa, moved him back here. And the currency that he realizes is the most valid, that carries the most weight when it jingles in his pocket, is that of relationships.
Yes.
So he's pursuing those on the fringes of everything he believes to be right, and he's testing it through his own.
I need to connect with your son. I mean, I'm right there with him. Like that's
you need
that's
to. I needed to connect you with Braxton.
I'm just gonna have the whole Lankford family tree on
Braxton,
here.
Braxton's with the so unique. Yeah, because he's you know, seriously a genius. You know, he's brilliant. And he's socially really, really just wide open.
Yeah.
Devout in his faith, but exploring it also. Like, you know, he's not afraid to ask questions, what I'm telling you. Like, he's going to ask me the tough questions and say, Dad, if this is it, then this is it. Why am I looking at it this way? I'm like, yeah, you know, yes, right, boy.
How strong is your foundation if it stands on stilts? I tell people that all the time.
If you can't ask questions, God ain't afraid of your questions.
People avoid them.
I'm like, they're like, oh, man, I said that. You think if a God's worried about what you gonna say, ain't one I want to serve.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I feel. Oh, trust
like
me.
If I'm sitting down here, if I'm worried about you offending, dude, let's just talk about where that meets our life and where it's going and the people that it's affecting. I think that's what we need to look at, and that's the currency of the fruit-bearing tree. Like, is it bearing? Is it not?
Yeah.
Some of us in faith circles bear the least amount of fruit. I mean, let's just be real, right? Again, it's all about using what you've been given, including your experiences and where you were born, to produce the best with what you got.
Yep.
You're not always going to do it. You've been around with me for about 6 weeks. It's not, it's a daily struggle. It's a daily grind. It's,
Of course.
it's getting up with saying what you say and what's tattooed on your head. It's like the reason you do that, and the reason I have a surrender sticker that I look at is to make me realize at the beginning of every day that I'm surrendered to something that's bigger than me.
Yes.
And just seeing the word surrender, regardless of what I got, whether it's a podcast or working on a farm with a bunch of addicts, teaches me over and over repetitively to believe that I'm working for something bigger than me. Like
doing holy work.
Keep surrendering to it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I truly, and I see that, and I believe it, and I
appreciate you, bro.
I've had such a killer time, Joey.
Yeah, me too. Hanging is hanging,
Yeah.
And that was what I felt like we did.
I had a lot of, to ask regarding Cultivate, but
I heard.
This was so natural. This was what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
This conversation did a lot for me, so thank you. I'm blessed.
Yeah, man, I think Akila and Maggie said we need to pre-prep for this podcast tomorrow. And they asked me the questions and what do you want here and what do you want there? And I had known because we had previously met and had coffee and sat down. I was like, it probably ain't gonna help because it's gonna end up going wherever it goes.
That's just how
it's too natural.
That's what I do.
It's too natural. It's just gonna go. And if we get into somebody's story specifically, and who knows, the story of Chris under the bridge might be the one we were supposed to talk about. Which would have never been on that script sheet, right?
This is an important conversation.
Yeah, right.
This is what it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Like, you look back, you said back when you had your stuff going on,
yeah,
and then to looking at now, or even the barn moment, looking at now, you was not expected this, right?
No.
But you're right where you're supposed to be. That's what I'm always telling myself.
Amen.
I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
Good.
Yeah. So
two dudes pressing on.
Man, I'm honored to have you.
I'm honored to be with you.
I do got a final question for you. And you've used this term quite a bit through this.
All right, let's go.
And that pumped me up. But I've got to ask you directly.
Yeah.
What is your relentless pursuit?
My relentless pursuit is to arrive at the end of this life knowing without a doubt, as I take my last breath, that the story that was written with my life made a difference to the broader humanity, to the world. Yeah. It left people, after they read the eulogy and they put me in the ground, there will be a ripple effect through the people's lives that I'll touch, that I will encounter in the spirit down the road. And they'll say, I am here because you were in Africa. I am here because you chose to start a farm and didn't know farming. I'm here. Like, that's my relentless pursuit. And the longer I do it, Joe, I got to tell you, the pride slips off of that. Yeah. Like, it's not, I don't want the banner and the flashing lights. Like, I think we both had a little bit of that.
Oh,
right?
Gosh, yes.
Right. So we know the fleeting feel of that. I want to be there knowing in my last breath that I squeezed the lemon so hard that there's not a 1 ounce of liquid juice left in it. And it's not, and then I'm there.
That's beautiful.
Then take me home, Jesus.
Yes, sir.
To your point, like walking off this, if you're walking off of something with your spouse whom you love to your death, there's a contentedness and a place in that.
Yes.
You ain't white fist knuckling, clutch, gripping something. I want to slip off that way, not that way, that way, but that way in spirit. My race has been run. My journey is done. Take me home, Lord.
Man, you're just getting started.
Right?
So excited to see what's
That's my relentless pursuit.
Man, this is going to be
good question, bro.
I appreciate that. That's
I appreciate you asking me that because I had never been asked like that. It creates the space for me to think through, and answer that question. Really cool. Thank you for giving me that opportunity.
Hey, thank you for sharing that. That was absolutely powerful.
Yep.
And I couldn't be more excited to have this conversation, man. I'm just honored. Joey, I'm excited to see what's ahead.
Hey, man,
I'm
me too.
excited to talk with more of your people. And get y'all story
You'll be blessed
out there.
by that.
Yeah,
for
man.
Sure.
I'm just grateful. So
more yet to come, and it's better.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being here.
I appreciate you, brother.
All right. Joey.
Yep.
Anything else?
No, I'm good. I'm good. You good?
I'm good.
God bless.
All right, sir. Y'all have a good one.
See you.
This isn't just a podcast. This is my life's work. In a world full of noise, debate, filters, and artificial content, this platform is real. It's raw. It's human. Every episode, we dive deep into stories that matter. Pain, purpose, transformation. We're here to give people a voice, speak truth, and connect through something deeper than algorithms. And we're growing fast. We've already reached over 20 million views across all platforms, with an audience that is loyal, engaged, and passionate about this show because it speaks to the soul. If your business or brand believes in authenticity, if you value marketing through something that reflects your values and aligns with real impact, then this is your opportunity. Sponsorship isn't just support, it's fuel. It's how I keep this mission alive. It's how I continue to shine light on powerful, untold stories that need to be heard. If you want to reach people, not just through metrics, but through their hearts, their minds, and purpose, let's partner. Let's build something that matters.